kept our country safe in the global war on terrorism. It was my responsibility. I was setting up the new Department of Homeland Security. And so I had my national security responsibilities, and I actually had a responsibility for protecting our country from a terrorist attack. And people would ask me, well, how in the world can you sleep at night knowing that you could be held responsible? The answer is I have faith in God, so I sleep at night. But also because of the men and women in the military that really took the battle to the terrorists overseas is what kept our country safe. And so I recognize what the importance of it. And today, you know, America needs to provide for those at home, but we also need to continue to understand the role of America in supporting freedom. And that really comes down to the strength of our military, and it's a dangerous world that's out there. And we have to continue to support the military because they're the ones that help keep our sea lanes open, helps us promote freedom and democracy across the globe. Just give us the security that we need. And so those are values that I think are very important for our future. But it starts with you. It starts with voluntary organizations like this. You know, what I like about Iowa is it's not always what the government can do for you. It's also what you do as a community for our veterans. And our government needs to do more. We need to restore faith in our institution of government to know that they're standing with you. But it's also really important when you see this kind of voluntary activity to support those that have stood by our country. Yes, sir.
I'd like to thank you for running because we had a second home in Arkansas, so I've kind of watched you from afar. You just always seem to talk common sense. You have conservative values. You run your state, and I think you'll run the country in a way that you have common sense without all the vitriol. I think we're tired of the name calling, and you're a conservative, you're a Republican, but yet I've seen you do things that the Republicans say this and all everybody has to step in line, but if the common sense says otherwise, you're not afraid to do it.
Well, I grew up fighting the establishment, so I understand that role, but I also understand that we need a president that brings out the best of America and that heals our country. And that's you know, a phrase that's important. I think for 8 years as governor, I brought out the best of our state. And the president has a greater responsibility, and the best of America is represented in this room, and it's represented in our freedoms, it's represented in our commitment to work and the values that we have from our communities, and to heal the divide to the extent that we can in America. We've always had division in our country. I mean, you think about the Vietnam War. I mean, our country was divided. You think about the civil rights protests. You think about, you know, the times of divisions throughout our history. And we've had leaders that have stepped up and say, we've got to come together as a country to address these problems. And today, regretfully, we have some politics that take advantage of division and say, and divides us more. And that's, to me, not the right kind of leadership, and certainly not what I would want to provide. So thank you, sir, for your comment. Yes, sir.
What will be your top 3 issues as president? We have 12, if you agree.
You're right. There's a whole bunch of needs that are there. You know, the first one would be the economy, because, you know, right now, thank goodness we got a food pantry here, but the cost of everything is going up, and that hurts us in our checkbooks. We have the interest rates that are up. There's a study done that just higher interest rates will cost the average American family $300 a month. And that's because your credit card bills go up, your home mortgage might go up or help you pay more to get in there. It's what really impacts every family, and so that's one of the top issues. I believe that another top issue is our border security and the fentanyl that's coming into our communities. Whenever you look at the leading cause of death for those between 18 and 49 is overdose. And fentanyl is what's being laced with so many of our drugs that are sold on the street. Someone gets that, they overdose from it. And so we've got to address the border security issues is the second thing, and I could talk more about that. That's something I have a lot of experience in. You know, and part of, and I'd say the third thing is America's leadership. We can't step back because China's ready to take over, and they want to be the superpower. They want it to be their next China century. Well, America's not finished leading, and America's not finished from being demonstrating our national character on the globe. So those are three things that I would do.